Is another issue that we've been talking about this entire week, and that is, of course, on the gender rule, the matrix, or rather the logistics, the formula of how this is going to be done prior to August the 27th.
Right.
Is something rather important for the country to discuss now. And
Yes.
Yvonne, you've got some statistics on the same.
Yes, I just want us to take stock of how we got here. So let's start with this one. You saw this when we started with the bulletin. So let's take you back to August 27th, 2010. We overwhelmingly passed the Constitution. This is what we overwhelmingly voted for, that we would have 1/3 of women in elective public bodies. So this is where we began. We didn't quite know how we were going to get it done, but we agreed on this essentially, basically. So let's take you now to October 2012. That was on the 8th of October, to be precise. The Attorney General went to the Supreme Court and he asked for an advisory opinion. He wanted to know if we were able to implement the gender rule by the time we're having the first general election in March 2013 under the new Constitution. Later in December, the Supreme Court said to the Attorney General, no need to do it in 2013. However, you must enact and pass a law by the 27th of August 2015. This is the law that would determine the formula of how to ensure that we have 1/3 of women in elective office. So we had the elections in March 2013, and this is the outcome. Now, out of 290 constituency members of National Assembly, we elected only 16. And then remember, we also elected county women representatives. Many like to call them county women MPs, 47 of them. Then out of the 12 seats that were set for nomination, we nominated 5. That brings to a total the number of women in the National Assembly at 68, which accounts for 19% of the composition of the National Assembly, which again does not meet the 1/3 rule. I will also add here that the county assemblies were able to meet the 1/3 rule. So what happened was there were not enough women who were elected as county reps. So what they did was they had a top-up. 600 women were nominated across the 1,450 county wards, and the county assemblies are now okay and in compliance with this rule. But then let's come back to this year. So we have all of this push and pull between the election and now as to just how we're going to get this done. Justice and Legal Affairs Committee Chair Samuel Chepkonga then said, look, we're not able to do this by August 2015, so instead he proposed a bill to achieve the gender rule progressively. That's how he put it. Women activists say it's not progressive, it's an indefinite postponement. Not happy with this. It caused quite a furore, even within the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. Take a look at what the Deputy Chair, Priscilla Nyokabi, said. She said, and I quote, Chepkonga sneaked the bill in using his position, and that the bill was never a part of the agenda of the committee. It was not an option. Now, at this point, we're at a very dangerous precipice, if you like, because what could happen if we do not pass this legislation by 27th of August 2015 is any citizen, including you, can go to court and say the National Assembly is not constituted properly according to the 1/3 gender rule, and we could then seek fresh elections. Remember, that could happen this year. All right, so this is what we're staring at in the face. But have you ever thought of what it would cost you, the taxpayer, towards achieving the gender rule? The Institute for Economic Affairs conducted a study this week, and this is what they came up with. What they're calling it is the cost of not electing women MPs. Now, for us to be able to meet the 1/3 gender rule, we need to elect 105 women in total. If we do not do that, then one of the ways of meeting that rule is nominating so that you can fill that gender deficit. So this is what it's going to cost you. 21 million shillings each year for a nominated member of parliament. Another staggering figure here for each nominated senator, 31.3 million shillings per year. That's in salaries and emoluments. The total would be 2.6 billion shillings. But the real question is, are you even aware of this rule, and does it matter? So a study was done by Ipsos Synovate. They released those findings just the other day. I think it's on Friday, actually. So take a look at the question they asked. This is it, and I quote. They asked, if you know, what is the constitutional requirement about the representation of women in all elected bodies like parliament and county assemblies? This is where it gets shocking. This bar graph here is the total. That's men and women. Just 39% were able to answer that question correctly, saying it's a third of women. That is the correct answer. 39% total. It gets even more shocking when you take a look at now between men and women who answered correctly. Surprisingly, men, 45% of them answered correctly. Take a look at the women. We're at 33%. So even the women for whom this law is supposed to be beneficial aren't even aware of this constitutional requirement. Let's take a look at another one then. The other question was, do you believe this requirement will be met? Now, this was a total of everyone who was aware and not. Many are optimistic, so that's a good thing. 52% say yes, 34% say no. This is interesting. 14% don't even know if that'll happen. And finally, the most important question that we're asking you tonight is, do you believe this will improve the quality of politics and governance? Again, take a look at these statistics. 48% believe it'll improve that. That's not even half. That is not even half. Take a look at men and women, just about the same. So, out of all those surveyed, round about half of the women who were surveyed felt that this will improve the quality of politics. So about half of the women who were asked this question felt that having more women like themselves involved in elective bodies like parliament will improve the quality of politics and governance in the country. And the question comes to mind is, are women their own worst enemies? Are they even aware? So are you aware? Is this something that matters to you? This is the question we're discussing tonight. Winnie Lichuma, National Gender and Equality Commission. We also have Judy Thongori, who's a lawyer, Dr. Mutaha Kangu, and on phone, we will have Dr. Ekuru Aukot, who was behind this whole one-third gender rule. So some shocking statistics on how much it's going to cost us and how much we're even aware.
Extremely shocking. And in fact, the nuance of it is just what is surprising in terms of how much it's going to cost.
Yes.
It's 21 million per
member of parliament.
Per member of parliament.
Yes.
And that is per year.
Per year.
My gosh. So you multiply that by...
So you want equality? It comes at a price. So quality versus quantity is also something else we'll be talking about.
Is expensive, but I mean, some would argue that it's worth it. Obviously, though,
not everybody, don't think it is worth
not everybody thinks that it is worth it.